Good morning, Nigeria. I like to say that TVC has a finger on the pulse and our eyes on the streets. And here on the Trending Now segment, my team and I, we do our best on a daily basis to bring you all the trending stories that are shaping the world that you and I live in. We begin today with this news that is not dying down anytime soon, where Lieutenant Ahmed M. Yerima, the naval officer involved in the now viral confrontation with the FCT minister Nyesom Wike, has become an overnight internet sensation. Now, the incident, which took place on the 11th of November 2025 in Abuja's Gadua district, began as a routine enforcement of a stop work order, but it quickly escalated into a heated exchange that has gripped public attention. Reactions online have been sharply divided, of course. A senior advocate of Nigeria and constitutional law expert, Prof. Sebastian, criticized the officer's conduct, describing it as a breach of the law, while some online groups have gone as far as calling for his dismissal. On the other hand, the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru, has defended Lieutenant Yerima, stating that the Ministry of Defense and the Military High Command will continue to protect every soldier carrying out their lawful duties. The Defense Minister made the comments during a press briefing at the National Defense College ahead of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration. This is what he had to say.
Ministry and indeed the Armed Forces will always protect officers on local duty. So we are looking into the question and be rest assured any officer on local duty be protected. I will not have anything to do local duty.
Other political leaders, including Peter Obi, have described the altercation as a national embarrassment, adding, of course, to the growing debate about this issue surrounding power, due process, and respect for institutions, whether military or civilian. Let's take a look at social media. AM Yerima. Ridwan OK says, this is what you guys are promoting. You're directly enabling military officers to see themselves as above the law. Reactions like that fuel self-entitlement, and that's why military men can strip people naked on the streets and beat them up with no repercussion. It's because you people enable them, but you won't see the nexus. Mukesh Moria says, honestly, I didn't expect to see a young soldier stepping up like that. Standing up to a minister takes serious courage, especially when you're up against someone so powerful. It's honestly refreshing to see someone challenge the status quo, even when it's risky. I'm not sure if it's bravery or sheer boldness, but either way, the guy deserves a lot of respect. Who knows? Maybe this will inspire more people to question authority, even when it feels impossible. Fins and Field says, I hope that the way most Nigeria supported this military officer will be the new way of supporting a Nigerian military going forward, and not only when it seems to be against their common enemy, Wike. Remember that the military at Lekki toll gate were also following orders. Charles Adegbite says, that soldier cannot stand before the Minister of Defense and be exchanging heated words with him. Can he? He cannot stand before any governor and be exchanging heated words with the governor. Can he? Wike is concurrently a governor and minister, and that should not be lost on anyone. The arrogance of that military officer and his disdain for civil authority is much too obvious in display. That arrogance must not be allowed to go unsanctioned. Doing so is letting him believe what he did is right and emboldens others to do the same. Very, very heated debate around this exchange. Some people see AM Yerima as a hero. He's being martyred online. Other people see him as an impunity and very, I don't know the word to call it, but they're saying that it was insubordination. I don't know what you guys make of this. We had Marion Doty right here talking about saying that, that young man was wrong. But he said, I'm not a fool, sir. I have integrity.
Well, still Dr. Marion Doty said the young man is also a victim, and that's the way I look at him, because he was between the orders he's been given and the minister. And as a military person, those orders are very, very strong, and he acted on those orders. My people will say, if you don't want to hear me sing, then don't ask me to.
I may not like Nyesom Wike, but you see, truth is truth. At this point, both Wike and the young man were both wrong, because if I was a minister at the point, I wouldn't go altercating or having an encounter with somebody who is far below me in terms of age and position. I wouldn't do that. So for the minister, I think a better way to handle this would have come up. But for the country to, you know, on social media, hail this young man, it's because it's a Wike that is involved here and the conduct with which he also displayed. We need to call out the truth when somebody has done something wrong. Let's not be sentimental on matters. Now, the minister talked about officers on lawful duty. Does guarding an empty land by serving security or military constitute part of what is lawful? We need to look into that because your books are saying something different from that. But a probe has been set up. Let's wait to see what comes out of the investigation.
Absolutely. Whatever side of the fence that you stand on, one thing is clear. Power is constantly at play in Nigeria. We have a do you know who I am syndrome. And unfortunately today we saw two big juggernauts lock heads and we don't know what to do with it all. Thank you so much. Moving on, there is growing controversy within the Federal Capital Territory Administration following a new directive banning the use of mobile phones by certain categories of staff. Now, this ban targets officers on salary grade level 14 and below at the Abuja Geographic Information Systems and the Department of Land Administration. According to an internal memo that was signed by the head of Aegis, Chijoke Nwankoeze, the directive took effect from Wednesday, November 12, 2025, and it states that affected officers are no longer permitted to enter the office premises with their mobile phones. The memo was simply signed off as management, and of course it has sparked mixed reactions within the FCTA. Some staff members have described the policy as unusual and too restrictive. Very interesting. Let's take a look at this outcome, at this memo.
Phones and other gadgets will not be allowed effective from Monday. So we have made adequate provisions for you, for your phones to be safe. So as you are coming in, please kindly do well to drop your phones.
Now, while the reason for this ban on mobile phones at Aegis remains unclear, it's coming barely 24 hours after the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike was involved in a public confrontation with a naval officer over a disputed piece of land. At the time of this report, the FCT administration has yet to release an official statement clarifying the motive behind this new directive. Timing is always very key and can tell us a lot. Let's take a look at social media. Okocha CFC says, the proverbial use of a sledgehammer to kill an ant. How is this the problem? Behave better, create better systems, resolve issues through the proper channels, and you won't be afraid of being recorded. Instead, you're solving a problem that should not exist in the first place. Interesting. And S-Ban Real Estate says, this move by Wike might be well-intentioned to enforce discipline, but banning mobile phones entirely could cripple efficiency and communication in a digital workspace like the AGIS. Leadership should focus on addressing the root cause of the viral incident, not clamp down on tools that are essential for productivity. Balance and reform, not restriction, is what builds lasting order. The optics of this aren't great for Minister Nyesom Wike. I mean, just 24 hours after this land dispute, this amounts to censorship, if you ask me. You know, banning mobile phones, and that user rightly pointed out, we live in a digital age. Phones are key and pivotal to productivity. To ban mobile phones is sending the wrong message, especially because, you know, we are all civilian journalists. We have a right to express ourselves, and our phones are integral to our lives. This doesn't look good.
Well, the story didn't say, but it's an offshoot of what happened between Wike and the soldier. You know, Aegis is a place where documents fly around a whole lot, and our phones, almost every phone has a camera. So the tendency of official documents being leaked or shown to people before time is very, very high in Aegis. It is something that they have complained about before now. So I'm looking at it from that point. I'm not looking at it from the point of Wike's altercation. Whichever it is, as time goes on, we'll get clarification.
Toma, you couldn't have said it better than that. I don't think there's any other thing to add to that. But look, that's why let's be careful of sensationalism. Let's really be careful. The president was saying yesterday at the Editors Guild conference that now the phones has been pirated, everybody to be an editor, a journalist of some sort. We need to understand the real issues instead of just jumping to that and compare and say, hey, Shana, because of this. No. The issue is not stopping professional journalists from doing their job. It's now a phone matter and documentations within a ministry. Let's look at it from that context.
Absolutely.
And that's really what it is.
I hear what you're saying, but I do believe that it's leadership's job to be diplomatic and tactful in regards to how they engage the populace. 24 hours after there was a land dispute that was widely circulated through the use of mobile phones, the Abuja Geographical Information System and the Land Department services are now, their mobile phones are now being banned. Whether we like it or not, let's look at both sides, team.
Okay, so let's look. Are they banning them from carrying phones to the office?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. To the office. It's a situation of where the cat cried in the night and the baby died in the morning.
Exactly.
You know, you really can't say this is the reason for now. You really can't say this until there's clarification. But thinking about the leaked documents and so on, that sounds more like it.
But then if you look at the matter, was it about phones, you know, at the venue, or we had media cameras?
It wasn't, but the reportage and the people that use their cell phones to record, so it was more widely circulated than it ordinarily would have been.
Let's even say there were no phones at that place. Cameras were all over the place. We would have still seen and heard what happened.
Either way, but there will not be, let's not. Thank you so much for your input, team. Yeah. Guinness World Records has now confirmed that former Big Brother Naija housemate Ban+Tacha Akide has made history. Recall that in October, Tacha took on the challenge at the John Randall Center for Yoruba Culture and History in Lagos, attempting to set a new record for the most makeovers in 24 hours. Well, the results are in, and she didn't just break one record, Tacha broke two. According to Guinness World Records, Tacha achieved 82 makeovers in 8 hours and an incredible 144 makeovers in 24 hours, surpassing the previous record that was held by Mary Yongai of Sierra Leone by more than 30 makeovers. Speaking after her confirmation, Tacha said that her motivation was to stand out and show Nigerian women that we can achieve anything that we set our minds to. She's also the founder of the Ban+Tacha Akide Foundation, and she said that makeup has always been her sanctuary and that this record is proof that her passion and her persistence paid off. This was her reaction on receiving the news.
And this is 10 January 2025, and trust me, this year 2025, I'm gonna break the Guinness World Record for the most makeover in 24 hours. Watch me do it. Watch me do it. Watch me do it. Let's get it.
That was Tacha, you know, being very prophetic, saying she would break the record. Her latest achievement has, of course, set social media ablaze, and many people on social media are celebrating her as the country's newest Guinness World Record holder. Good job, girl. We're rooting for you. Let's take a look at social media. Popori says, you are bastardizing this precious record. When I was growing up, I always looked forward to reading the Guinness Book of Records, and I held this in high esteem because it documented greatness. Today, you give the record out for petty things. It seems you have missed the track and what this commission stands for. Please go back to the drawing table. Thank you. Learn to be happy for people. Oh. Next tweet. We'll take one more tweet on this. TM says, congrats, Tacha. Breaking 2 Guinness records in one go, that's not just a glow up, it's a full-on supernova. From Big Brother drama to beauty boss status, you're out here rewriting the rule book for African queens. That's more like it. Whether we like it or not, this is great news. It's not just about makeovers or even the context of the record that she broke. It's about a young woman saying, I'm going to do something, and I did it, and I executed.
Yes, and that's the Nigerian spirit. You don't give up. You set your eyes at a goal and you walk towards it. Congratulations to Tacha. And for that person that said it's not worth celebrating, what record have you broken, man?
Ask
you know, what record? Go try break one record and let's see. We got somebody that tried to break a world record for whistling. I think he did. He even succeeded. He whistled. So, Nelson, I don't know what we are waiting for. We should look for something. Maybe I don't know.
I'll break the record of eating the biggest afang soup. But look, Tacha, congratulations, but a good story to just calm the nerves. This is a fine one. Well done, my dear sister. Please make more records on whatever you choose. Yes. Have fun.
Nelson, if they had banned her phone now, what would have happened? Thank you so much.
She's not part of the people whose phone is being banned.
She doesn't work with Egypt.
And by the way, for correction, there are provisions for them to communicate.
Moving on to
office.
International news, singer and model Paris Jackson, the daughter of the late pop legend Michael Jackson, is opening up about her past struggles with addiction and the lasting health effects that followed her addiction. In a recent social media video, Paris revealed that she has a perforated septum, a hole in the cartilage between her nostrils, which causes an audible whistle when she breathes and a lot of uncomfortability. Using her phone's flashlight, she showed us the small opening and explained that it was caused by substance use during her addiction years. Now, after several years sober, she used the moment as a reminder to her fans, saying, "Don't do drugs, kids." Have a look.
I have what is called a perforated septum, slightly different from a deviated septum, and that is it's what you think it's from. Don't do drugs, kids. Or, do.
Now, her honesty has sparked conversations online about recovery, self-awareness, and the long-term impact of addiction, and many are praising her for turning a difficult truth into a teachable moment. I'm not going to take any tweets because they were very abusive to this young woman's journey. But team was seeing right there, she has a hole in her nose. And I thought it was important to take this story because time and time again, we come here and we discuss the effects of drug addiction. And I don't think our youth really understand. The current craze right now is something called nitrous oxide. And the lasting effects of this are permanent. I'm talking permanent brain damage, paralysis. And yes, nobody seems to be listening or taking heed to these effects. And you have this young woman, all the money in the world are saying, look what drugs did to me.
Methamphetamine has a way of perforating things like that, your brain, your ear, your nose, and all that. You see, one way you handle drug addiction after you've gotten out of it is to embrace it, and that's what she's done. And for the kind of person she is, it's a very strong message. So I wonder why anybody would want to run her down because she came out with something like this. It takes a lot of courage, and it also shows that she is tackling her addiction head on.
You see it, why sometimes this online has a lot of wahala. Somebody is coming to advise based on an experience of drug addiction, and we want to throw her under the bus? Please, so that is, it's your business. If you want to go ahead with it, have fun. For somebody who has conquered and has a scars to show, I think I'll listen to her.
Absolutely. For those who are struggling with addiction back home, recovery is possible. You just have to make the choice. Thank you so much for your